Okay, today we're going to review a number of exercises and stretches for the lower body. You're going to do it in two sets. First set of 3 exercises, the second set of exercises. You can separate those onto separate days, and then the stretches you can do either every other day or every day. The mobility stretching after is always a benefit. So we're going to start off with tibialis raises, deep calf raises, and knee over toe lunges. So for the tibialis raises, we put our hips against the wall, we walk out to the maximum ankle flexion, we hinge off the wall, and we lift the toes up, pressing the toes forward, pulling the toes back to get full ankle and foot action. We want to do a set of 20 here. Then we turn around, same idea, full ankle flexion, get maximum load, we're going to bend our knee, hook onto it, and lean our hips forward. So my hips are at maximum, push forward, maximum bend on the ankle, and then all the action happens in the ankle and in the foot. We do 20 on each leg here. Do 2 sets back and forth. Tibialis raises, and then the calf raises. And then after that, we're going to move to our lunges. I'm going to use the block here for elevating my foot. You can have it flat, you can have your foot elevated as much as you need. So we're going to step forward, and we're going to lunge where our knee comes all the way into full flexion, and we're sitting on our heel. You want to have that back leg elevated as straight as possible. 2 sets of 5 here. So you want to have that back leg elevated as much as possible, knee as straight as possible, sitting down on that heel, full ankle flexion. You do 5 sets of 5 with those. So you start off with tibialis raises and calf raises for 2 sets, move on to your lunges. Now we're going to review Nordics, reverse Nordics, and knee over toe squats. So for our Nordics, we're going to hook our feet underneath something for stability. And then we want to push our hips forward as much as possible, flexing the hamstrings. We slowly lower ourselves down until we fall. And then we use our hands to push up as little as possible until our hamstrings can pull us in. Also, we can do it by hinging at the hips to load our hamstrings, to give us a little bit more engagement, less of a load. Up there, or my preferred, we go about halfway and then we extend the hips for the maximum load until we fall, and then pulling back into it. We'll do sets of 5 with the Nordics. For the reverse Nordics, we can use some assistance to elevate our toes. We want to again keep the hips straight here, chin tucked, chest expanded, and then sit back and the hips lead us forward. You can raise your feet up as much as you need to make it easier, eventually working to the floor. So you're going to alternate Nordics and reverse Nordics, 5 of each. Do that for 3 sets, and then we'll move on to our squats. For our squats, we want to use full range of motion, so it's more important to see my feet than my face. So you can have the toes pointing straight or out a bit, but the knees are going to go straight as we squat down, sitting on our heels, and pressing up hard, flex out of the hips at the end. We can do them unloaded. Or grab a weight, pull it to your chest. Do 5 sets of 10. And finally, we have our mobility stretching. We're going to hold these stretched for a minute apiece. We're going to pin our back foot against the wall, step forward with our opposite leg, and then upright ourselves, driving this knee into the floor as we push ourselves back against the wall, aiming to have our back flat with our hips pushed back, so not arching, just upright, pushing back. Hold it for a minute on each leg. And we're going to do an active hamstring stretch, or elephant walk. So we plant our hands on the floor, and then we walk our feet, moving our hands closer to our feet, but keeping our weight forward in our hands, heavy on our arms. Do 60 steps total. And we're going to use a bit of an incline and a bench for our incline pigeon. We want to have the back leg, back knee straight as much as possible. We can lower down into it, and then we can hinge forward and push up to deepen the stretch. I'm going to hold this for 30 seconds on each side, or a minute on each side if you work up to it. And then our groin stretch is going to be legs as wide as possible, toes pointing forward. We hinge with a flat back. Hold here for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, we can plant our hands, push our feet a little bit wider, see if we can engage more deeply, and see if we can come up out of it. If we can't come up out of it, shorten it to a stretch where you can move. We want to be able to move through our positions. That completes your lower body exercises and flexibility work.